All right, welcome to Improving New Mexico. And today's episode, I am going to kind of explore the idea of the Albuquerque Rail Trail and see where we're at now and where it's going to go in the future. I have some videos queued up to kind of check it out. But this is what the rail trail currently looks like. So this is the existing trail that runs along the river. So this trail goes like for miles and miles and miles all the way up. I don't even know how far it goes. It definitely goes up to Los Ranchos. I've like went all the way up here before and came up to the North Valley. But that's like besides the point. I mean, I think this project's getting a little bit of heat because a lot of the funding was cut from it. So yeah, I think there's like $11 million grant from the feds. That's kind of we don't really know what's happening with that, and they're asking for like the state and the city to kind of figure out, and the county, like all these other government entities, to kind of sort it out. But so far, we've only got this little bit built, I think. So yeah, I definitely want to check this place out tomorrow. I gotta run a few errands. So I might head down to Old Town tomorrow and kind of document that. And maybe add that to like a little video to follow up on this. So, but yeah, definitely check it out. I kind of like the idea of being able to travel around this whole area just by bike. But there is concerns about like crossing busy roads and stuff around here. So I'm kind of curious as to what they're going to do about that. Because this area is like a huge tourist draw, like all around Tigway Park. These are where all the tourists come to visit Albuquerque and see what it was like back in the old days. This is like the oldest part of the city. This is the original Albuquerque, basically, if you're not from here. But yeah, here's some of the stuff people are talking about. Strong Towns, it's like organization that's trying to do like redevelopment for different cities throughout the country. They kind of want to make more like walkable places. It's one of the goals.
In a city don't look like much. They might not even exist yet. This might just look like a really long, empty lot with weeds, abandoned cars, and overgrown tracks, but it isn't. It's one of the biggest opportunities our city has right now. Over here by the sawmill, the Albuquerque Rail Trail is already beginning to take shape. You can walk, ride your bike, push your stroller, meet your neighbors. It's quiet, it's beautiful, lots of art, and shade is going to grow here soon. As each new section of the rail trail begins to take shape, it'll begin to make a lot more sense. It's not going to be one project, it's dozens of neighborhoods. It's finally being connected together from downtown, Old Town, the Bosque, from the Alvarado Transit Center, all the way to the Hispanic Cultural Center. Eventually, all of these places are going to feel like they're part of one city instead of just islands separated by dangerous roads. One of the biggest improvements might not just be the trail, but this crossing here at Rio Grande, which is pretty loud. We'll see if we can hear anything. So if you're a kid walking to school, a tourist crossing the street to go to a shop, going to work, this is a very uncomfortable place to be crossing the road. The rail trail project will help change that here, adding a signalized hawk protection so that people can cross the street here without having to worry about getting mowed over. For residents and visitors alike, this will be a new safe choice and a new way to get around the neighborhood. I was in Fayetteville, Arkansas recently for the Strong Towns National Gathering. They built a trail through old rail quarters that looked quite a bit like this. It wasn't just another bike path. Instead, it brought restaurants, small businesses, families were using it, and then neighborhoods felt more connected. It even brought housing, and it was one of the best, most loved places in the city that I saw. Projects like this don't happen because everyone agrees. They happen because enough people show up.
Dang. What's up with this video? It's not doing too well right now.
And say, we want something better than what's here today, and let's
All right, let's just be done with that.
Be honest, an overgrown right-of-way with illegal dumping and abandoned...
So that's like one of the ideas, and I was kind of like looking through different places here throughout the country. As you can see, I've been to like a couple of these places. So I've been to Charlottesville, this is in Virginia. I guess this is where that bad thing happened in 2017. Seems like an interesting place. Times Square, I've been here, and I think there's still traffic now. I don't know if they totally pedestrianize it. I think I was here in like 2022, so this was in 2016. I guess there's sections that are blocked off. There's not too much traffic around there. Definitely not like that anymore. Pearl Street Mall, Colorado. Boulder, Colorado. Okay. Church Street, Burlington, Vermont. That looks pretty. I've been here, Santa Monica. Yeah, this kind of looks like downtown Albuquerque now. Like, seriously. Yeah, they made this into like a place that you can just like walk around. That's pretty cool. Ithaca Commons. Yeah, it's just like whenever cars take over, it just looks dead, just like antiseptic. Oh wow. Oh, that's really cool. Then you can see what it's like now. Oh, that's cool. I didn't notice that. I wonder if the other ones have that too. Oh wow. Oh yeah, look at how different it looks. With the cars, they just make it look like desolate. It's just crazy. Oh wow. Look at that. Huh. That makes such a difference, doesn't it? When you see it like that. It's just like more life. Oh wow. That's crazy. Yeah, that does make a big difference. I guess I didn't notice. Oh yeah, I guess, yeah, so this is what I remember in 2022 was like this. I still remember the cars crossing that way, I guess. Maybe there's like more bikes. They built like a bike lane, so it feels a little bit busy with the bikes. But yeah, that's horrible with all the cars there. It's crazy, like how much a city like New York should not have that many cars in it. I think they're trying to like tax the vehicles to go in, but yeah, oh, that makes a big difference there. Yeah, and this is from 2016, so this is a while back. All right, so actually kind of I was interested in this video. Well, let's see so this is what's like happening recently. So I was in bike lanes. Talk about bike lanes later, I guess. This is from like 2 months ago.
Crews have been working on the rail trail in Albuquerque. It's a 7-mile loop that connects downtown and Old Town, and part of the loop opened up back in October. Now the next phase of this project is about to start.
This is so great that they're doing this. It will connect Old Town to Biopark. Our Alyssa Munoz is in studio with what you can expect. Good morning, Alyssa.
Good morning. Starting this summer, the city says they'll be working on a half-mile trail from Old Town to the Biopark, and that's designed for both walkers and bicyclists. Now on the trail, there will be features like art, benches, and a mix of urban and more natural trail areas. Now this phase is part of the city's larger 7-mile rail trail loop, which the city says will connect key destinations such as downtown, Sawmill, and the Bosque Trail. Terry Brenner with the city says they hope to complete it by next spring, and it could cost between $3 to $5 million with the help of state and city funding.
It should help with traffic and people dealing with traffic in the Old Town area, and but also it will promote a lot of development, a lot of opportunities for housing and commercial development and things like that, but also boost our tourist industry too.
Now, the city is also in the planning stages to expand the rail trail near the Hispanic Culture Center, 12th Street, and the Central Crossing area. I'm Alyssa Munoz, KWT Action 7 News.
Alyssa, thank you. Last year, the Trump administration pulled $11.5 million in federal funding for the rail trail, saying it wants to focus on cars rather than people or cyclists. The city of Albuquerque then sued to get that money back. This is still being played out in court.
Yeah, so that whole thing is getting classified under DEI. So, yeah, so this happened just a few days ago, actually 3 days ago. So the Transportation Secretary Duffy, who was in like Road Rules back in the day, MTV. I don't know. He was a reality TV star who doesn't know. I don't know if he's really familiar with transportation needs or anything that has to do with that, but I don't know. DEI has to do with bike lanes. They seem to be two different things. And our federal government's actively removing bike-related safety materials from Federal Highway Administration's website. What about bike lanes make them DEI, and why are conservatives against bike lanes? So it's kind of interesting. Like, so this has to do with kind of what's happening with the funding for the rail trail right now. So this is a conservative. I cannot stand cyclists. There's really nowhere they don't annoy or inconvenience the people around them. I'm like, you could literally say that about cars. At least a cyclist isn't gonna kill you. What are you talking about? And they usually go around you. You can be walking a sidewalk with your stroller and hear little blank dog bell, or they're on the major road going 15 miles per hour during rush hour. Well, you're probably going 15 miles per hour too, buddy. While they role play having an actual vehicle, they'll whine about the same road rules, but then do the same speed or have the same safety. That being said, I'm not against bike lanes. If we give them bike lanes that reduce those frustrations to some degree, the problem is then shifted to areas where bike lanes stop or simply don't exist. So the infrastructure costs ultimately it's just a matter if the juice is worth the squeeze. I mean, like, he said a lot of horrible stuff, but he did say, like, I don't know, that's probably like the best sort of like conservative argument you're gonna get from that. I don't know why it really like nothing. It's just a what about bike lanes makes him? Yeah, it's just like European conservative though. All right, this just goes off to name calling. I don't understand. This is like another. It's like I don't understand the connection to DI. Yeah, it's just. But I agree that we've overbuilt bike lanes, especially in urban, where they take precious space from traffic and parking on final purpose. I don't know. It's just like this whole argument of parking, just so annoying. It's just like people just have this really lazy mentality, and they think there's like unlimited places to park. You know, so you go to a restaurant, and especially if it's like in a really built up downtown area, it's like you're not gonna be able to park right in front of the restaurant. Like it's just physics. Cars take up too much space, you know. You have to build like these massive, even when you go grocery shopping, unless you're like have a handicap parking, you're not gonna be like right next to the door to get in and out. It's just like just walk. I don't get it why people are so averse to like doing like just a little bit of walking. It's just crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's just silly. The whole idea that the feds are like not even acknowledging like bike safety and all the issues we have is just crazy. It's just, I guess the city and the state's really going to step up on all that. But I was watching this video. It's kind of talking about the rail trail, and this is from like last year, so it's pretty interesting. So I definitely want to share this with you, and we can kind of go over it bit by bit.
Welcome to KRQE's New Mexico News Director, Insiders. Here's Gabrielle Burkhart and Chris McKee. Sponsored by New.
Just the constant flow of businesses, I think.
So they were talking about that
redevelopment agent.
Transitioning, but obviously there's some like key ones that have stayed the same. The Kiva and I think downtown Central is a real good focus of that sort of sameness, but also changing a little bit.
Yeah, I think some people might disagree, but I do think there is a good amount of evidence to suggest that there is a lot going on downtown right now. And I say that it comes in both the form of planning efforts and I think also on-ground construction. And when it comes to sparking redevelopment downtown and in other parts of the city, there is someone in the city who has a big role, and he is joining us this week on the New Mexico News Insiders podcast here. Terry Bruner, the director of the City of Albuquerque's Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency.
So the MRA, Metropolitan
Thanks for having me.
Agency,
Yeah,
which has a
we are
huge
glad
role
to
in
have
the
you
city.
here because, as I mentioned, I think you got your hands in a lot of different things going on, and we'll get into some of these, I think, over our conversation here today.
And actually, like the MRA, the redevelopment agency, actually has like a lot of projects, such as like the old Albuquerque High School, and there's a lot of controversy regarding that because they enclose like the little patio area, so it's a public-private partnership project. The city like sold bonds or had some sort of involvement in the financing, and now they're blocking it off to the public completely. And it's just like, I don't know why people are fighting to like advocate for these super privatized spaces, especially if you pay tax dollars for it. It's like, I don't get it. I mean, it should be at least open part of the day. I can understand like not being completely open, but it should be partially open to the public during like regular working hours. But I don't know, taxpayer dollars at work.
But
I guess that's a
your
separate
job
issue
seems
as
to
well.
be where government intersects with private business, and it just so happens to be in the largest city in the state. But for those who don't know, what is the MRA, the Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency? Again, we know it's a city-run agency, but what does it do, and what's your role?
Well, the Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency has been around since the 70s, so it's part of it was part of urban renewal, like a craze that, in a sense, went throughout the nation trying to rehab cities after the 1960s, and so we did the same in New Mexico, and Albuquerque started one. And we have 22 areas of the city that have been deemed as blighted and need of renewal since the 90s.
Yeah, I think some of the early urban renewal actually destroyed quite a bit of our historic buildings. So the old Alvarado Hotel, where the transportation center is now, which isn't properly used in my opinion, but that's another story. Yeah, that was, I think, due to that whole like urban renewal push, that was leveled instead of rehabbed. Well, we lose a lot of history. We're losing a lot now to downtown.
1970s, and we can go in and use special tools at the MRA to incentivize commercial private development. So we often are helping to build housing units in apartment complexes or retail things. I mean, the Hotel Andaluz was a MRA project from many years ago, and the old Albuquerque High project is an MRA project from 20 years ago. So we've gone throughout the city. There's been lots of different methods they've used over the last, almost 50 years to really get at how do you take a vacant lot or a dilapidated building and bring it to a new use, and how does that use catalyze other good things to happen in that neighborhood. So our areas that we work in are typically up and down old areas of Central and 2nd and 4th Street and Broadway. So that's kind of what the MRA does. And it always takes little different iterations or forms depending on who the mayor is or the city council, and they might have different priorities. So our priority right now is a lot of housing, a lot of downtown stuff, a lot of Route 66 preparation for the Centennial. So those are some of the things that we're working on lately.
Yeah. And your bio says that you've been working with the city-run agency for about 3 years now. Before this, you ran a nonprofit working toward getting...
So this organization does a lot. Sounds like, it's something I didn't really even research on. It has like a big impact on our lives. And there's these like things that these government organizations that make these huge impacts, and we don't even realize it. And we really need to do our work and know what's going on in our city and our communities and who's actually calling the shots. So it's good to watch this video to see this. I'm going to kind of move it a little bit forward. They talk about the rail trail some more. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like watching this actually... Oh, what's that? I think my neighbor's shooting off fireworks right now. I hope those are fireworks. This is Albuquerque.
Looking at a little bit more on the commercial side, what we can do in the 21st century, we need to stay current with the times and the economic conditions too.
I'm curious your perspective when you consider positives and negatives about downtown Albuquerque. How do you see it? What has it got? What's it missing?
So I think everybody agrees now, and back when we did our first plan there in the early 2000s, that the bones, in a sense,
here
are.
we go.
Don't know. What is the rail trail? How do you describe it?
Yeah, so the rail trail is a
Kind of
7-mile loop around
distracted.
downtown that connects to the Bosque Trail that will allow bicyclists and pedestrians to really walk that area and connect a bunch of neighborhoods together
fireworks.
and provide an amenity that's not only recreational, but it's a tourist attraction and it's something more to do in Albuquerque. And we love this idea, and it's been around, as the mayor likes to say, for about 35 years to reuse sections of old rail as a place where people can walk and recreate. And in working on this rail trail, the mayor and I have both probably visited about 10 trails around the country where these are big economic catalysts for downtown. And I think we limit ourselves a lot of times when we think about trails, and we think about the Bosque Trail, where you got a little bit of blacktop, you got some rocks, some native vegetation, and that's a trail. But these trails we see around the country are more interactive. They're taking you from commercial location to commercial location, or connecting community centers, or giving you a history of the neighborhood that you're in. And they're really more of an amenity, like a tourist attraction kind of thing that people will visit from.
Yeah, I think he's like right on the money with that too, because I've seen that in other countries, other cities, where these things actually become like an attraction themselves, and it allows tourists to actually be able to travel around the city without using the car. And that's a big thing. Like now, I know there's a ton of people I met in Europe who don't drive, so if we get more tourists from around the world basically coming to Albuquerque, because we do have like world-renowned stuff here, you know, Breaking Bad and Balloon Fiesta are two big things that are renowned throughout the world, and if they decide to come here, they could just get on a bicycle and ride around the whole center of town, you know. And then with the rail runner, they're able to go up to Santa Fe and a few other points, you know, and check out those things. It's a good way. I feel like right now you still need to have a car to see like the majority of the stuff, like 90% of the stuff that's in New Mexico probably. But it gives somebody a good like sample of the state to come in and like be able to, you know, to come in fly to Albuquerque and be able to be in the city and experience some stuff here and maybe in Santa Fe and a few other places without having to drive. So that just kind of adds to that. And it'll build up on like local infrastructure for local people too, you know, so we can use that and enjoy that.
And the pavement is smooth and maintained, so it's a little different. And also, I think one thing we talk a lot about is there's lots of access to that trail. So one thing we learned from trails around the country is you want to have, you just never have enough access points. You want to walk out the back of your housing development right onto that trail, and that's not something you do on the Bosque Trail. That's a little bit more like a nature trail in some ways, because you're going, you know, you're commuting or you're parking and then walking in towards it. This is much more of an urban trail in the sense of the word in where we're looking at on the rail trail.
Yeah, and I understand the original idea was just to make sort of a north-south trail along the track downtown. That's obviously turned into a big 7-mile loop now through several neighborhoods. How has this concept changed over the years? How did it grow?
Yeah, I think it grew in the sense of how you can link these different areas. So like you said, it was just north-south on that typical rail line where you see Amtrak and Burlington Northern doing their rail shipping. And I think there was a trolley car envisioned for the side of that. And
now that would have been cool, but that would have been totally like a tourist thing. I don't know how practical that would be for, I don't know. It's just, I think there's possibilities if you're local people, if you like work in certain areas, you could use these trails for like commuting purposes, shopping purposes, hopefully. I don't know, we just definitely need to build up some more stuff around there, and hopefully this is popular and actually attracts more businesses and stuff like that to sprout up around there. But I'm interested in it, honestly. It's worked in other places. I don't see why it wouldn't work in Albuquerque either.
and it turned into a walkway. And then we thought, and I think the mayor took the lead on this, is, well, wait, how do you connect it to like the rail yards and the National Hispanic Cultural Center and the Bosque and these other different elements in Old Town? Like right now, it's hard to walk from Old Town to the Bosque Trail. It's not an easy path. So it's just logical. You know, you want to build up a nicer connector that takes you from Old Town to the Biopark to the Bosque Trail. Like that's common sense. And we're just executing on some of that, I think, and making these linkages a little clearer. So, you know, I love the idea that you could take your kid in a stroller over to the Biopark and then just walk right over to Old Town, and it's a really easy path. Like that's a great idea, I think.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of excitement around it, and you know, you started with the idea that kind of just between almost like Lomas and Central, that it would be this like north-south path, but now linking all of these neighborhoods and making easier connections does seem really exciting.
Yeah, and I think too, if you get local people to start using that stuff, you could be like, cool, why don't you just take the bus down there? Then you don't have to worry about parking or walking next to that. So it's just like, it's just getting people used to the idea of like walking and taking public transit, and then it just starts building and growing from there. So it's a good way to like plant the seeds, and they see like other people like talking about your place, you know, is really motivating. I think we have like outsiders like really pumping up where you live is really good too, I feel too. So I don't know, I hope this project works out well. This video is like really long. I don't want to be like keeping this video for like an hour, but let's watch like a few more minutes of it. Let's see what else he has to say.
Walking around, it changes the nature of these neighborhoods in a positive way. So we're really hopeful that this incentivizes private development through Wells Park, into Bareilles, around Old Town, in downtown, and young people want to be by that trail, and that would be amazing. And you don't have a housing development in isolation like we sometimes have in this town, and there's nothing around it. We want all this stuff connected, and that helps the economy in our city.
So while the project is underway, it doesn't sound like all the funding is there to finish it, right? The rail trail. There might be some slightly newer numbers, but the city's website right now outlines around $40 million that's been secured, but the project could cost anywhere from 60 to 90 million in the end. Will it get done, you think?
Well, we hope so. So the way we're strategizing on this is we're going to develop particularly important sections first, and those will be really the argument for future funding. Perhaps, you know, a future mayor will want to do a bond to complete this project, or the federal government will want to invest more. I mean, right now we have about, for every city dollar we put in, about $4 of outside investment by the feds and the state. And we hope to continue with that. But, you know, the Sawmill section, which will be from Teague Park to Sawmill Market and is under construction now, we think I think that will have all the bells and whistles. And when people walk on that trail, people from Albuquerque, they're going to say, yeah, we want more of this. This is really cool. Same with Central Crossing. When they see the ramps that we build at Central, and that crossing has become safer, and you're up on top of the railroad tracks, seeing new views of Albuquerque, and maybe walking through a really cool sculpture of a tumbleweed or whatever, that people are going to say, I like this. Please, politicians and deciders in Albuquerque, let's do more of it. And that's what we want to see.
When do you think this can get done? Obviously, the funding is always the big question mark here, and it sounds like those numbers are still up to date there, about 40 million secured, 60 to 90 cost. But yeah, when do you think this can get done?
I think realistically it's 2028, 2029 if we were fully funded and able to just keep going. We have accumulated all the property we need to make the trail happen, so we have the pathway figured out, and now it's just a question of building it out. And I think we'll have some exciting news soon on a portion by the biopark. We've got a really cool.
So it's really, I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know, right now the feds are yanking all this money, so we'll stay tuned for what's happening now. I'm gonna I'm gonna check out this place tomorrow, see what they've gotten done so far, because I need to go to Old Town tomorrow. Maybe I'll just do like a live filming of a video down there to kind of see what it's like. And yeah, like, what do you guys think about this whole project? Do you think it's gonna get done when they say it is? You know, I'm kind of curious, and I hope that they're able to get the whole ring around there, because I think some of the other neighborhoods, not just like the Old Town and that Sawmill area, deserve to get this. You know, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, it looks like currently the project is, yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, it's like literally we have like this much done, this little tiny stretch here. So, but yeah, it'll be cool. I mean, I live in this neighborhood here, so I don't have a direct access, but pretty close, you know, and be able to like loop all the way around here safely. I'm just curious about like all the crossings and stuff like that. So, yeah. Oh, cool. They actually have a picture of that. Oh, roundabout. Yeah, I don't think have I been down this roundabout? I want to check it out live tomorrow. So, yeah, part 2 is tomorrow, live version. So, live rail trail update tomorrow. I promise you that. Cool. All right, well, I think I'm going to wrap up the video for today. Hopefully all the monies come through despite all the troubles we're having with the current federal government. But yeah, this is, I looked it up, Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency. So this is our city's organization that is responsible for this project. So if you're curious, they have stuff on here about it. So, yep, you'll be able to connect all this stuff. So you go to meetings if you want to check it out. So they have the meetings. I don't know if open to the public, but yeah, click on all this stuff and check it out. All right, well, it is kind of late for me, so I hope you learned something from this. It wasn't too much brain rot, but yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Good night. Thank you. Please like, share, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Bye.